Om Gam Ganapatye Namaha. Kaliyugada Kalpataru, the fifth delight, Shri Raghavendra Gurusarvabhauma. Chapter 121. The significance of the Brindavana stone. After completing a successful journey, Shri Raghavendra Swamiguru, having decided to show mercy and returned to Mantralaya, was received and welcomed by Diwan Venkana upon hearing of his arrival. That day, after the rituals such as the worship of the deity and the acceptance of Bhiksha, Venkana submitted a report regarding the responsibilities entrusted to him by the Guru. He declared that he had constructed houses for the temple of Sri Venkateshwara, the deity idol, for the close associates of the Matha, for scholars, and for the accompanying entourage, and showed everything to the Guru. Sri Padangalabaru saw this and was filled with satisfaction and contentment. The next day, Venkana took Shri Avaru near the Yajnavedike, that is, sacrificial altar, and showed him the sanctum and the Vrindavanas that had been constructed according to the Guru's instructions. The sanctum was agreeable to the Guru's heart. Upon seeing the beautiful Vrindavana constructed by Venkana the Guru Rajaru smiled and said, Venkana, the Vrindavana is beautiful, but it's not useful for us. Venkana, with folded hands, asked, Why, Gurudeva? Is the Vrindavana not good? The Guru replied, The Vrindavana is indeed very beautiful, but it is not for us. The one worthy of this Vrindavana will come in the future. Let this be reserved for him. Construct a different Vrindavana for us, he commanded. Venkana asked, Swami, on which stone should it be made? The Guru replied, We will show you the Madhyana Shile, that is midday stone. That afternoon, after the rituals of deity worship, Tirtha Prasada and Bhiksha were completed, Sri Padangalabaru sat in the palanquin and departed, reaching the area near the stream that now bears the name Mahadwara in the village. He graciously descended from the palanquin and walked on foot to a nearby field. Pant too got down from his horse and followed the Guru. Guru Rayaru came to the spot among several rocks in that field and pointed to a certain black stone and said, Venkana, have a Vrindavana prepared from this stone. Listening to the words of the Supreme Guru, Venkana was filled with curiosity. With humility he submitted, Mahaswami, every step and words of yours fills me with wonder. Please forgive me for asking. But why have you chosen this stone in particular? This rough stone. What greatness lies hidden in it? Sri Rayaru, with a smiling face, replied, Venkana, this is not an ordinary stone, my dear. I have already told you that during the Treta Yuga, Sri Rama and Lakshmana sanctified this land with the dust of their feet. Sri Ramachandra Deva once rested on this very stone for a duration of 7 muhurtas. This stone is sanctified by the touch of the feet of Sri Ramabhadra. Therefore, this Vrindavana for this servant of Moola Rama must be prepared from this very stone. Venkana, this is a sacred and worthy of worship as a Salagrama, he explained. Each and every word of Sri Guru Rayaru stirred waves of emotion and devotion within Venkana. His hair stood on end. On one hand, there was awe and bliss. On the other, sorrow that he would be deprived of serving this supremely auspicious being for long. Overcome with emotion, with a choked voice filled with devotion, Venkana placed his head on the Guru's feet and said, Gurudeva, your movements, speech, form, radiance, your vast knowledge, devotion to Sri Hari, renunciation, brilliance, and your speech that reveals past, present, and future, all that I see and hear from you, and all the nectar of your teachings that I have imbibed, makes me feel as though none other than the great devotee, Sri Prahalada Rajuri himself, has descended to earth in your form. O great soul, we are indeed blessed to have such a purifier of the world as our Guru. Swami, how fortunate I am to be a recipient of your grace and affection. O revered one, I bow to you. I wholeheartedly accepted your command. He submitted. Sri Gurusarvabhauma beamed a gentle smile at Venkana Pant and returned with him to Mantralaya. 5 days after this event, at an auspicious time, amid resounding chants of the Vedas and the grandeur of instrumental music, Sri Guru Rayaru, following all the Vedic rites, consecrated his family deity Sri Venkateshwara in the newly constructed temple with his nectar-filled hands and celebrated a grand festival. After the consecration of Sri Venkateshwara, Sri Rayaru began to reside in that very temple. The close associates, scholars, and members of the entourage, after a celebratory Grihapravesha, that is housewarming ceremony, all began to reside in the house granted to them by Sri Avaru, and with full dedication continued the service to Sri Rayaru. After a few days, Sri Rayaru, accompanied by a small retinue, graciously proceeded to the village of Ganadhal, located a short distance across the banks of the river Tungabhadra, a place renowned as a spiritually awakened site. At Ganadhal, in the divine presence of Panchamukhi Sri Pranadevaru, that's a five-faced Hanuman, who manifests and rules there of his own will, Sri Patangalavaru, the revered one, engaged in the worship and veneration of Sri Moolarama and served Sri Pranadevaru for a full Mandala Kala, that is 40 days of spiritual observance, practicing intense penance there. During this time, he attained the complete grace of Sri Pranadevaru and received Sri Vayudeva's consent and blessings for his sacred resolve, that is Sankalpa. With this, he returned his mind once again towards Mantralaya. Hari Om. Om Sri Krishnarpanamastu.